When the Live Twin archetype first dropped, it had a lot of people excited. The playstyle, the artwork, the concept, it had everything going for it, except one thing: consistent competitive success. At first, we saw pure builds trying to make it work. Then came the experimentation. Sprite, Runic, you name it. Players were trying everything to bring out the deck's full potential. But over time, it just faded. The deck felt incomplete, like it was always just one piece away from truly shining. But recently, something changed, and that missing piece might finally be here. What's up, guys, and welcome back to Main Phase TV. I am so happy to be back, and yes, Live Twins are back in the game. I actually did a sneak peek just yesterday. I was actually undefeated, and we got the chance to go against some of the new support for the other decks, such as Mitsurugi. So we got to test it out yesterday. We basically 2-0'd all of our opponents except one. Shout out to Dante, Cowboy OP. But with that being said, I know y'all cannot wait any longer. Let's go ahead and get into it. And before we do, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. Let me know what y'all's ratios are after seeing this. I'm genuinely curious the differences in your extra deck or main deck. And I'll be honest, the hand traps that you will see in here are temporary. Shout out to Brian from Crush Cards for actually discussing the deck with me. I know he's a big fan of the deck. He loves it. I love it. And let's get into it. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the deck profile, starting with now the one card combo, your Live Twin Kill. This has always been kind of like, I mean, it's always been a starter, but you know, realistically, we've always wanted to do Leela, summon out Frost, and then combo off. But now, even if this gets impermed Ash, we literally can just link one, thankfully. And this is all you honestly need. Moving on to 3 Live Twin Leelas. Now, this is where the controversy begins. I know a lot of people cut this down to 1. Realistically, it's still technically your combo. A lot of people still don't know what the deck or the new cards fully do, but even if they don't stop this, you have other ways to search the extender. It's still kind of like a 1-card combo. This does need to resolve, but you also have the new card. But with that being said, Brian and I definitely decided that 3 was, it's actually more his idea than mine, but he did explain exactly why and what his argument was behind it, and I completely agree with it. So 3 Leelas definitely did not break it. Honestly, it really helped out a lot, because then you can just do, you know, other stuff to bait out the Ashes, the imperms, so on and so forth, the nibs, and then, you know, you can just pop off. Now, granted, if you do have nib, you can't, you know, use the effect or 1-card starter, but you get the idea, right? As far as the extenders, we're running 1 Frost, 1 Treat. Realistically, it's supposed to be 2 Frost. I just couldn't find the second one in time, so I ended up replacing the second copy with a hand trap. But I honestly would be running 2 of these, maybe 3, but 3 is kind of pushing it, because then the ratios are going to be off, which then means you have to run more of the new card, and kind of throws off everything. Instead, we are playing the new Live Twin Leela Suites. For those of you who don't know, this is basically a hand trap / extender. It's absolutely amazing. If your opponent basically responds to your Live Twin Kill or Leela, when they use their effect, you can literally discard this card from your hand, negate the effect. And the other effect is, if you control a Kill monster on field, this does activate. You can special summon this from grave. Honestly, this thing has been amazing. I never used the discard effect. There was a time that I thought I should have, but thinking back, I honestly should have, because I just ended up scooping. Like, they ended up, it was against Mitsurugi Raizio. but they had Detonator and the Field Spell and whatever else. And I actually had a Leela, but I also had a Frost in the hand at the same time. So I was just trying to figure it out. The chains kind of just got a little wonky, but other than that, Sweet has been amazing. I'm only running 2. A lot of people think the card's like super broken, that it should be run at 3, but realistically, I think 2 is good. You want to see it, but you don't want to see it that much in your hand, because this can be a brick if you don't even have a starter on the first place. But this is the other reason why we're running 3 Leelas. So if you know, have a Leela and a Sweet, like, it's gonna resolve regardless, honestly. Along with the engine, we are running 3 Snitches. I think this one's a Euro, it's why a little darker, but so forgive the mismatching. But of course, this is your search for extender, search for starter, search for Sweet. 9 times out of 10, I honestly don't even search Sweet with this, because then that just tells my opponent, you know, I have a starter and you're not gonna do anything, and they could just hold that hand trap for an extra deck monster, like for your other twins and stuff. And honestly, that's it for the Live Twin engine. A lot of people are running 3 secret passwords. It plays into Droll too much. It stops us. We don't need to be Droll. Droll doesn't really hurt the deck, but if you play secret password, adding Snitch, it hurts it. And let's be honest, most Live Twin players, or the ones who have been playing since the very beginning, shout out to Caddy, we both know, and we all know, that it's either you're gonna see all engine in your hand or no engine whatsoever. And on the draws, if you are running passwords or, you know, whatever the case may be, those draws on Kisa Kill or Frost, you always end up drawing engine, especially if you're running too much. But honestly, this was perfectly fine. And on next to the engines. We are running 3 Fiendsmith Engravers. I know people cut it down to 1. It is searchable. 2 is okay. It's not too bad. Engravers are now budget, so there should be no reason why you don't play 3. Plus, you can get more draws with the Necro Quip. You can honestly, I used this to bait out a Nibiru, and I had Kisakil in hand, so I was like, okay, cool. You know, tracked effect, so on and so forth. Bring out Necroquip, bring out Engraver. They have to nib you. If they don't, they're kind of screwed either way. But Engraver, 3, 100% must have. Then we are running the 1 Lacrima. Honestly, she's been amazing. And the 1 Lurie. I don't know why, but sometimes I just kept drawing him, which kind of sucked, but it is what it is. It's just the story of one-ofs, and it happens. It's our luck, you know? But, you know, yeah. So on top of that, we are running 1 Tract. I know somebody asked me this yesterday. I think it was one of the other players. He's like, 1 Tract, bro? He's like, because I used Engraver to pitch the search, thinking I had the other card, which would be Sanct. And I didn't. I actually cited it out. 1 Tract is perfectly fine. Plus, it's way too expensive. They're way too, like, I know you see QCRs, but realistically, like, QCRs are like pretty cheap compared to just 1 Tract. I'd rather get more QCRs of other stuff than another Tract, to be honest. But that's why I was playing Sanct. The other reason why I was playing Sanct, and it's not bad of a card, is because you can play around, like, if you get drolled searching for Sanct, because you already have the Tract, that's perfectly fine, because then you just activate Sanct, gives you a Life Fiend token, you go into Requiem, so on and so forth, and you continue playing anyway. And you still try to bait out the hand traps. And then you could just normal Kisa Kill or Frost, proceed to combo off. And then we are playing the 1 Paradise. Brian actually convinced me to main deck it, simply because if we get Fualos, this deck kind of plays into it a lot. So the most that they'll get is like maybe 2 draws. We'll do the link 1 and then link into Requiem to get the second draw and then just pass turn. So that way at least we have this to interrupt our opponent, also depending on what we have in hand, right? So 1 Paradise was pretty good. I did side it out going going second a few games. And same thing with Sanct. I just kept tracking most of the time. But honestly, that ratio is perfectly fine. It did me well. Next, onto the hand traps. We are running 3 Ash Blossom. Of course, that's mandatory. We're also running 3 Fualos in the main. Perfect for going second and if you're going first because you want the dice roll, this is honestly just discard fodder for Bo. We are also running 3 droll, and honestly, this is also good if you're going first and they follows you. The moment they add a card, you could just, you know, droll them, and you can still set up combo. Now they're stuck with the same 5 cards, depending on what they have, and you know, it's pretty good. I just realized that this was like mixed rarity, so, or not mixed rarity, but mixed art. Forgive me. I know. The next hand trap is 3 Imperm. Imperm is your standard. I mean, I absolutely love it. Plays around talents, even though it's at 1. You do have those sacky players. I'm one that just have it or draw it, you know, whatever. The next we're playing is 2 Ghost Spells. The only reason why I did Ghost Spells, quick, fast, in a hurry, and I might keep it in, is because of Malice. Malice is the biggest contender against this deck, and it sucks going second. So if we can do something to stop them, Ghost Spell stops a field spell, Ghost stops one of the Ad Ignister cards in the hand, it hits Splash Mage. Granted, Ghost Spell by itself won't do anything, but if you have another hand trap and you time it just right, you might be able to just have some little leeway and they end on a mediocre board compared to the massive interruptions that they have. The last 2 hand traps would be 1 Ghost Ogre. This was the second Frost. I last minute realized I didn't have a second Frost, so I just threw another hand trap and I was like, screw it, Ghost Ogre, you know, it can hit Blue Eyes, I guess. And if people are still playing Ryziel, which they were, if people are still playing Ryziel, then, you know, you can hit the one that searches. I can't remember the name, even though I just played the whole deck like all last season. And then the last one is Nibiru. For the cross-out target, there was one time where we actually drew into Nibiru, which kind of sucked going second. I left it in there just in case, and that was actually against Sprite. They played into it pretty good, and we just nibbed the shit out of them. We had a normal summon Kisa kill, or next draw was going to be a Kisa kill, but we also had Ash, Imperm, Evenly, Nib, and I forgot something else. Or the Nibiru, yeah. And then I checked the next draw and it was literally a Kisa kill. So granted, that's a gamble, but still was pretty fun. The last 3 cards to make it 40 would be Called by the Grave. Of course, we have to play the alt art because it has our girls on it, and Live Twins is just the best deck in my opinion. I absolutely love this deck, you know, so I had to get that Called by the Grave. Then we have the 1 of Crossout Designator and the 1 of Triple Tactics Talents. With as much as this deck draws, you're gonna see one of them. Honestly, I think I got a top deck Talents 1 point. I got a top deck Crossout, and they tried to nib too late, and I just, cool, sounds good, you know, just screwed. But overall, the deck functioned really well. It almost never bricked, and honestly, it did really well. I am gonna make some changes to the deck after today, after I release this video, because of like other stuff that I realized with the deck. But like I said, you can build the deck to your locals or what you expect that you're gonna see. Same thing with your side, which I won't be showing today. Now on to the extra deck. We have our Evil Twin Kisa Kill deal. Now, this card I absolutely love. They imperm your Kisa kill, they ash it, who cares at this point now, because we don't have to search the extender. On summon, it does nothing. I wish it was an on summon effect. It is an ignition effect. That's the only downfall, but it does send the suite from deck to grave for cost. So even if they imperm this, that part of the effect still resolves. The effect that we really care about with this, other than the dumping, is that every time your opponent responds to an Evil Twin or effect, you immediately draw a card. So if there was a time where I actually summoned out Kisa Kill and Leela, my opponent did as well. So it was Chainlink 1, Kisa Kill. He did Chainlink 2 his monster. I immediately drew. It was technically draw 2. So it's kind of like our own version of like Max C, but not so much, or Fualos, however you want to see it. But it was really good. I love this. At 1 is fine. It recycles with Engraver. You honestly shouldn't have to worry about that much. Then we're playing 2 Leelas, and I'll explain why. So 2 Leelas, which is the target 1, pop 1, 2 Kisa kills, and we're also running 2 Trouble Sunny. Mixed rarity again, apologies. But the reason why we're running 2 Trouble Sunnies is because at least you get to take advantage of the banish and send for cost. And then you can literally just use whichever twin you didn't send to summon the other one back. And you have the last one to just help attack for game. It honestly came in like twice and it helped out so much. We're running 1 Requiem. You can run 2, it just depends on more or less your playstyle or what you're comfortable with, what you're worried about, or your locals, so on and so forth. But 1 Requiem, 1 Sequence, 1 Agnum Day, and then 1 Desiree. I mean, of course, like you know what these are, like you know what they do. When this is equipped with this, can't be targeted. When this is equipped with this, it boosts the attack. If it's equipped with both, you're set, bro. The next monster is DDD Wave High King Caesar. I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're playing the Fiendsmith, you have to choose one or the other. You cannot do both. You can end with High Wave King Caesar, your Trouble Sunny, and your bow, or you can end with Desiree, Trouble Sunny, and bow. You really can't do both because then you're gonna be going through a lot of bodies, going through a lot of resources, and even then we're still missing that little extra body. But I definitely suggest just choosing one or the other. If you know you're scared of nib, which most of us are, most people are probably gonna be running it realistically, this is the way to go. But it also depends on your matchup. The next card is Necroquip Princess. This helps with your Chaos Angel or your draw effect, depending on what you decide to do. I used her draw effect like so many times yesterday, it wasn't even funny. Then we're running 1 bow. If you don't have it, you need to get it. The standby phase effect actually came up twice. Once I drew 5 cards, the second to last, the only person that I went to game 3 with, I drew 4 cards, added talents, baited everything with Engraver, went to Requiem into Lacrima effect. He chained Detonator. He had Detonator and Cowboy. Talents take, he popped his Detonator because it had Eclipse Twins anyway. Cool. Took the Cowboy. He summoned back his Detonator, used Cowboy effect to burn him for game. But to be fair, he did it first. However, her effect came in clutch. Had she not used that effect or had that effect, I kind of would have been cooked. I probably would have lost, if I'm being honest. But regardless, this comes in clutch. The other 2 effects is you discard 1 card for cost. You can either special summon a light or dark from grave. You banish her first, and then you summon the monster. If she does not get banished because she gets destroyed by a detonator or something else, or a ghost ogre, you do not summon from grave, just so you know, in case that comes up. The other effect is discard 1 card, non-target, pop a card on the field. That effect she does not banish. So just keep that in mind. And then for the draw effect, it's for every different type that you have in grave. So we have Cybers, Zombie, Aqua if you have Frostil, Winged Beast for Fualos, Fiend for the extra deck, so on and so forth. So yeah, I mean, you'll be drawing 5 cards depending on what hand traps you also used, which also helps. And the last card that can be changed is Chaos Angel. Chaos Angel came up once, but it put me in an awkward position. I probably shouldn't have done it. This could be something else, if I'm being honest. I haven't decided. It could be a Typhon. It could be a Djinn Buster. Realistically, it just depends on your hand and what's going on. As far as Djinn Buster, it didn't come up once today. Like, everybody basically stopped the normal summon, or I just only had 1 normal summon and no Sunny Snitch in hand, especially because I didn't really want to play into Droll too much for that reason, just in case. But even then, it honestly wasn't too bad. But with that being said, I had so much fun with this deck. The recovery is amazing. The fact that you only need just Kisa Kill now is broken as shit. I absolutely love this deck. I'm excited to be playing it. When I make adjustments to this deck, I will give y'all a heads up, let y'all know for the next deck profile. I do plan on taking it to 2 more sneak peeks. That's gonna be Saturday tomorrow and Sunday as well. I'm really excited about all the new builds and all the ideas that people have, the new techs. I miss y'all guys very much. Glad to be back. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to comment, and I will see y'all guys next time.